Imagine standing on the edge of a vast ocean, gazing at the horizon. You can see the water stretching out endlessly, meeting the sky. But what if I told you that what you see and what you experience may not be as solid as it appears? What if, just beyond the surface of your perception, reality is shaped not by physical matter, but by something more profound, a force of mind, thought, and consciousness? This is the essence of a profound and ancient philosophical concept. The universe is mental. At first glance, this might sound like a mystery or a riddle, but it's actually a central idea in Hermeticism, an ancient wisdom that has guided spiritual seekers and philosophers for thousands of years. One of the key principles of Hermeticism, known as the principle of mentalism, suggests that the all is mind. In simpler terms, everything around us, from the stars in the sky to the very thoughts we have in our heads, is a projection of the mind. Not just any mind, but a universal mind, a source of all creation. You may be wondering, what does that even mean? How can everything be made of mind? Let's pause for a moment and think about it. We all know how powerful the mind can be in our own lives. Our thoughts shape our emotions, our actions, and even our health. Imagine now if the entire universe is somehow built upon the same force, the mind. It could mean that everything we experience is not just out there, but an expression of this larger, all-encompassing consciousness. This idea is not just rooted in philosophy. It intersects with modern science, particularly the strange world of quantum physics. The more we delve into the mysteries of quantum mechanics, the more we see that reality, at its deepest level, behaves in ways that seem to defy our traditional understanding. The double-slit experiment, for example, demonstrates that particles behave differently when observed than when they are not. In essence, the act of observation, something that happens in the mind, seems to shape the very physical reality we experience. So, what if the Hermetic idea of the universe is mental is not just a philosophical theory, but a reflection of the deeper workings of the universe? As we explore this principle, we will see how ancient wisdom, quantum physics, and even modern spirituality align in a fascinating way. The mind, it turns out, is not just something we use to think or process information. It's the very force that shapes our universe. Our thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions are not only reflections of reality, but also creative forces that help shape the world around us. So, in the coming parts of this series, we will journey together to understand this idea more deeply. We will look at how mentalism is not just about abstract concepts or distant ideas. It is a living, breathing truth that has profound implications for how we live, think, and experience reality. We'll explore ancient texts like the Kybalion, insights from quantum physics, and even the teachings of modern spiritual practices that all point to the same truth. The universe is, at its core, mental. Stay with me as we start peeling back the layers of this fascinating principle and as we begin to see the world around us in a whole new light. This journey isn't just about philosophy. It's about you, your mind, and the power you have to shape the world you live in. Ready to explore? Let's begin. Let's dive into the heart of Hermeticism by exploring its very first principle, the principle of mentalism. The Kybalion, a cornerstone text of Hermetic philosophy, states, "The all is mind." But what does this really mean? To grasp it, we need to rethink what we consider real. We tend to believe reality is solid, fixed, and external, a world of physical objects that exist independently of us. Mentalism flips this idea on its head. It suggests that reality doesn't begin with matter. It begins with mind. The physical world, according to this principle, is a projection or emanation of consciousness. It's not that things are unreal, but their true essence isn't physical. It's mental. Imagine for a moment that the universe is like a dream. In a dream, everything you see, feel, and experience is created by your mind. Mountains, rivers, people, and even events. None of them exist outside your dream, yet they feel real while you're dreaming. The principle of mentalism suggests that our waking reality operates in a similar way. The universal mind, an infinite source of consciousness, dreams the universe into being, and we, as individual minds, participate in and shape this dream. Interestingly, this idea is not unique to Hermeticism. Ancient Sufi philosophy, for instance, speaks of Tawhid, the oneness of all existence. In this worldview, everything flows from a single, divine source, what Hermeticism would call the universal mind. Ibn Arabi, a prominent Sufi thinker, described creation as a continuous act of divine imagination. To him, the world we perceive is like a shadow of a greater, unified reality. Similarly, in Hermeticism, the material world is secondary, a reflection or manifestation of a higher mental reality. But why is this important? If reality is mental at its core, it means that our thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions play a much bigger role in shaping our experiences than we often realize. It shifts our understanding of life from being passive observers to active creators. In this sense, the mind becomes not just a tool for interpreting reality, but a force for creating it. Take a moment to reflect on your own life. Have you ever noticed how your mindset influences the outcomes you experience? When you approach challenges with a positive, focused attitude, things often work out better than when you're filled with doubt or fear. This isn't just coincidence. According to mentalism, the energy of your thoughts interacts with the universal mind to shape the reality you experience.
The principle of mentalism reminds us that everything begins with mind. It invites us to cultivate awareness of our thoughts, recognizing that they are powerful tools, not just for understanding reality, but for shaping it. As we continue, we'll explore how this principle ties into perception, consciousness, and the deeper mysteries of existence. But for now, remember this: your thoughts are not just fleeting mental events. They are seeds planted in the fertile soil of the universal mind, waiting to grow into the reality you experience.
Now that we've touched on the idea that reality is mental, let's bring it closer to home by exploring how perception shapes our experience of the world. To do this, we turn to the modern philosophy of phenomenology, founded by Edmund Husserl. At its core, phenomenology is the study of how things appear to us, how we experience reality through consciousness. It ties beautifully into the Hermetic view that reality is not fixed, but shaped by the mind. Husserl argued that perception isn't passive. It's not just about receiving information from the outside world. Instead, perception is an active process where the mind organizes, interprets, and even constructs the essence of what we experience. Think about it. When you look at a painting, you don't just see colors and shapes. Your mind interprets them, giving them meaning, emotion, and context. Without this mental interpretation, the painting would just be a collection of meaningless marks. This idea aligns perfectly with Hermetic mentalism. If the universe is mental, then our individual minds act as lenses, shaping how we perceive and interact with reality. This means that what we experience is not purely out there, but deeply intertwined with our thoughts, beliefs, and perspectives. The world we see is, in many ways, a reflection of the world within our minds. Let's bring this closer to our everyday lives. Have you ever noticed how two people can experience the same event but interpret it completely differently? Imagine two individuals watching a thunderstorm. One might feel awe and inspiration, seeing it as a display of nature's power. The other might feel fear and discomfort, associating it with danger. The storm itself hasn't changed, but their perceptions, and by extension, their realities, are entirely different. Phenomenology and Hermeticism both highlight this truth. Reality is not just something we observe, it's something we co-create. This doesn't mean the physical world doesn't exist. It does, but its essence and meaning are shaped by consciousness. Our minds are active participants in the ongoing creation of reality. This insight is both liberating and empowering. If our perceptions shape our reality, then by shifting our mindset, we can shift our experience of the world. We can choose to see challenges as opportunities, difficulties as lessons, and life itself as a grand mental adventure. The principle of mentalism and the insights of phenomenology remind us that reality is not fixed. It's fluid, dynamic, and deeply personal. As we move forward, we'll explore how these ideas connect to the latest scientific discoveries, particularly in quantum physics, which reveals that the universe is even more malleable than we ever imagined. But for now, let this thought sink in. The reality you experience is a mental construct shaped by your thoughts, perceptions, and beliefs. The power to change it begins with your mind. Now that we've explored the philosophical roots of mentalism, let's turn to science, specifically quantum physics, to see how this ancient Hermetic principle aligns with some of the most groundbreaking discoveries about the nature of reality. The idea that the universe is mental may seem mystical or abstract, but modern science is revealing that consciousness plays a fundamental role in shaping the physical world. One of the most famous experiments in quantum physics, the double-slit experiment, demonstrates this beautifully. When scientists fired particles, such as electrons, through a pair of slits, the particles behaved like waves, creating an interference pattern on the other side. However, when the particles were observed, they acted like particles instead, as if the act of observation collapsed their wave-like state into a defined point. In simple terms, the particles changed their behavior based on whether or not they were being watched. This discovery is profound. It suggests that consciousness, through the act of observation, directly influences the physical world. The implications are staggering. If particles, the building blocks of all matter, behave differently when observed, then the universe itself responds to the presence of consciousness. This aligns perfectly with the Hermetic principle of mentalism, which posits that mind is the foundation of all reality. But quantum physics doesn't stop there. The concept of quantum entanglement further challenges our understanding of separateness. When two particles become entangled, their states are linked, no matter how far apart they are. A change in one particle instantaneously affects the other, defying the classical idea that information cannot travel faster than the speed of light. This interconnectedness points to a deeper, underlying field of unity, which Hermeticism describes as the universal mind, a vast interconnected consciousness from which all things emerge. David Bohm, a prominent physicist, took this idea further with his theory of the implicate order. Bohm suggested that the universe we see, the explicate order, is only the surface layer of a deeper, hidden reality. The implicate order is a realm of infinite potential, where everything is interconnected, waiting to unfold into physical form. To Hermetic thinkers, this aligns closely with the idea that the material world is a manifestation of a mental or spiritual source. What makes all of this so fascinating is how it shifts our role in the universe. If consciousness is a fundamental force, then we are not merely passive observers of reality. We are active participants. Just as our observation in the double-slit experiment shapes the behavior of particles, our thoughts and intentions interact with the fabric of reality. This makes us co-creators of the universe, constantly influencing the world around us with our mental energy. Consider how this plays out in daily life. Have you ever noticed that when you focus intently on a goal, things start falling into place, almost as if the universe is responding to your intentions? This isn't magic. It's the natural outcome of aligning your consciousness with the underlying mental nature of reality. The principle of mentalism reminds us that the mind is not separate from the universe, but an integral part of its creative process. As we continue our journey, we'll see how this understanding is mirrored in spiritual traditions, particularly in their teachings about interconnectedness and the illusion of separation. But for now, let this insight sink in. The universe is not a rigid, mechanical system. It's a living, responsive field of potential shaped by consciousness. And that consciousness includes you. One of the greatest illusions we experience as humans is the sense of separation, the idea that we are distinct individuals, isolated from one another and from the world around us. But what if this sense of separation is just that, an illusion? Both Hermetic philosophy and Buddhist teachings point to a deeper truth. Everything in the universe is interconnected, part of a greater whole. In Hermeticism, the mind is seen as a spark of the universal mind, meaning that we are not separate from the larger consciousness that creates the universe. Similarly, Buddhism teaches the concept of dependent origination, which states that all phenomena arise in dependence upon other phenomena. Nothing exists independently. Everything is interwoven in a web of cause and effect. Thich Nhat Hanh, a contemporary Buddhist monk, captured this beautifully with the term interbeing. He explained that everything in existence is connected, like the clouds, the rain, and the tea you drink. Without the cloud, there would be no rain, and without the rain, no tea. Everything is part of the same flow of existence. This mirrors the Hermetic view that the division we perceive between ourselves and the world is an illusion created by the ego. Our minds, conditioned by personal experiences and societal beliefs, create artificial boundaries: me versus you, inner versus outer, spiritual versus material. But these boundaries dissolve when we see reality through the lens of mentalism. If all is mind, then everything we experience is part of the same universal mental construct. We are not separate drops in the ocean. We are the ocean itself, expressing itself as individual drops. What's fascinating is how this understanding can transform the way we live. The illusion of separation often leads to feelings of loneliness, competition, and fear. We see ourselves as isolated beings, struggling to survive in a hostile world. But when we embrace the interconnected nature of reality, we begin to see ourselves not as solitary individuals, but as integral parts of a greater whole. This shift in perspective fosters empathy, compassion, and a sense of unity with all life. Practically speaking, recognizing the illusion of separation can help us navigate challenges with greater wisdom. Instead of seeing others as adversaries, we can view them as reflections of ourselves. Instead of feeling disconnected from nature, we can feel a deep sense of belonging to the earth and the cosmos. The Hermetic principle of mentalism and Buddhist teachings both invite us to dissolve the ego's boundaries and reconnect with the truth of oneness. As we move forward, we'll explore how ancient stories like Vishnu's dream expand on this idea of interconnectedness, showing that the universe is not only mental, but also deeply imaginative and fluid. For now, reflect on this. The separation you feel is not real. It's a product of perception, and by changing your perception, you can reconnect with the infinite whole. Imagine waking up from a dream so vivid, so real, that for a moment you can't tell whether it was just in your mind or something you actually experienced. Now consider this. What if your waking life itself is part of an even greater dream, one imagined by the universe itself? In Hindu philosophy, this idea is beautifully illustrated in the story of Vishnu's dream, where the entire universe exists within the consciousness of the divine. According to the Puranas, Vishnu, the preserver of the cosmos, lies in a state of infinite rest, floating on the cosmic ocean. From his mind emerges a dream, the universe as we know it. In this dream, countless worlds, beings, and experiences come into existence, yet they are all part of Vishnu's imagination. When Vishnu awakens, the universe dissolves, only to be dreamed again in an endless cycle of creation and dissolution. This story resonates deeply with the Hermetic principle of mentalism, which teaches that the universe is a construct of the universal mind. Much like Vishnu's dream, the material world is a projection of consciousness, real in its vividness, but mental in its essence. It reminds us that reality is not fixed or solid, but fluid and dynamic, shaped by the mental forces of creation. The Rig Veda, one of the oldest spiritual texts, echoes this idea in its hymns, describing creation as arising from the thoughts of a divine being. The text speaks of the universe as emerging from a singular act of cosmic imagination, where thought precedes form. This aligns with Hermeticism's assertion that the mind is the root of all existence, the invisible force from which the physical world unfolds. But what does this mean for us? If the universe is a dream of the divine, then we too are dreamers within this grand cosmic imagination. Our thoughts, intentions, and perceptions become part of the creative process, contributing to the unfolding of reality. Just as Vishnu dreams the cosmos, we dream our individual realities, shaping them through the power of our minds. This perspective invites us to reframe how we see challenges and opportunities in life. If life is a dream, it means that the boundaries we perceive between success and failure, joy and sorrow, are not as rigid as they seem. It empowers us to step into the role of active creators, knowing that the dream of life can shift and evolve based on our mental focus and intentions. Vishnu's dream also reminds us of the interconnectedness of all things. Just as every element of a dream is part of the dreamer's mind, every aspect of the universe is connected through the universal mind. This understanding encourages us to see the divine not as a distant force, but as something present within and around us, woven into the fabric of existence. As we reflect on this ancient insight, let's consider its implications for how we live and think. The universe is not a rigid structure, it's a flowing, imaginative creation. Our role within it is not passive, but participatory. We are co-creators within this vast mental construct, capable of shaping our experiences and contributing to the unfolding of the cosmic dream. Next, we'll explore how ancient systems like astrology and numerology offer further insights into the mental patterns of the universe, showing that even celestial movements and numbers are reflections of the universal mind. But for now, hold on to this truth. Life is not just happening to you. You are an essential part of the dream, with the power to shape it. Since ancient times, humans have looked to the stars and numbers for guidance, believing they hold the keys to understanding the patterns of life. Astrology and numerology, often seen as mystical sciences, offer profound insights into the Hermetic principle of mentalism. These systems suggest that the universe operates through underlying mental patterns, and by understanding these patterns, we can better navigate our realities. Astrology, for instance, interprets the movements of celestial bodies as reflections of cosmic consciousness. The alignment of planets, their positions at the time of our birth, and their ongoing movements are thought to influence human experiences. But why? From a Hermetic perspective, the stars and planets are not just physical objects. They are expressions of the universal mind, part of the grand mental construct of the cosmos. Their influence on us reflects the interconnected nature of all things, where the microcosm, our lives, mirrors the macrocosm, the universe. Numerology similarly delves into the hidden meanings of numbers. Pythagoras, the ancient mathematician and philosopher, believed that numbers are the fundamental building blocks of reality. In numerology, each number carries a unique vibration, representing different aspects of life and consciousness. For example, the number 1 symbolizes individuality and creation, while 7 is associated with introspection and spiritual awakening. These vibrations are thought to influence not just individual destinies, but the very fabric of the universe. From a Hermetic viewpoint, these systems are not separate from the mental nature of the universe. They are manifestations of it. The patterns we observe in astrology and numerology reflect the mental blueprints of the universal mind. Just as an architect uses a plan to build a structure, the universal mind uses these cosmic patterns to shape reality. But what does this mean for us personally? By understanding these patterns, we can align ourselves with the flow of the universe. Astrology and numerology are tools for interpreting the mental construct of reality, helping us navigate challenges, uncover our strengths, and find our purpose. They remind us that our lives are not random, but part of a greater, interconnected design. Think about the last time you felt a sense of synchronicity. Perhaps you noticed a repeating number like 1111, or a seemingly random event felt strangely meaningful. These moments are glimpses into the underlying mental patterns of the universe, showing us that reality is more interconnected than we often realize. As we reflect on these ancient systems, we see that they are not just superstitions or curiosities. They are profound expressions of the mental nature of reality, tools for understanding the universal patterns that shape our lives. In the next part, we'll turn to shamanic traditions to explore how altered states of consciousness reveal even deeper layers of this mental construct. But for now, remember this. The universe speaks to us through patterns, and by paying attention, we can align ourselves with its mental flow. Shamanic traditions offer a fascinating lens through which we can explore the mental nature of reality. Unlike structured religious doctrines, shamanism is rooted in direct experiential knowledge of the universe, a knowledge that often defies conventional understanding. Shamans, the spiritual practitioners of these traditions, have long navigated realities that lie beyond the ordinary, revealing profound truths about the mental constructs of existence. One of the key teachings of shamanism is that our everyday world is only one layer of reality. Shamans often speak of non-ordinary reality, a realm accessed through altered states of consciousness. By using techniques such as drumming, chanting, fasting, or plant medicine, they enter a state where the boundaries of perception dissolve. In this heightened state, shamans report encountering spirits, ancestors, and forces of nature, but more importantly, they describe seeing the universe as a deeply interconnected and fluid mental construct. Carlos Castaneda, in his book, The Teachings of Don Juan, recounts his apprenticeship under Don Juan Matus, a Yaqui shaman. Don Juan emphasized that the world we perceive is held together by our minds, shaped by the assemblage point of our perception. By shifting this point, one can alter how reality is experienced, revealing layers of existence that are usually hidden. This aligns with the Hermetic principle of mentalism, which posits that perception and consciousness are central to the creation of reality. Consider this. If reality is mental at its core, then the limitations we experience, what we think is possible or impossible, are not fixed. They are mental constructs shaped by our conditioning, beliefs, and perceptions. Shamanic practices help break down these constructs, showing that the world is far more flexible and dynamic than it appears. A shaman navigating non-ordinary reality is essentially accessing the deeper layers of the universal mind, interacting with the raw creative potential that underlies our existence. But what can we learn from this in our everyday lives? While most of us may not embark on shamanic journeys, we can still apply these insights to expand our understanding of reality. For instance, have you ever experienced a moment where time seemed to slow down or speed up? Or a dream that felt so vivid it lingered long after you woke up? These experiences hint at the fluidity of perception, reminding us that reality is not as rigid as we think. Shamanism also teaches us the power of intention. When a shaman sets out on a journey, their intention shapes the experience, guiding them to insights or healing. Similarly, our thoughts and intentions act as guiding forces in the mental construct of our lives. By focusing our minds and directing our energy, we can shape our realities in alignment with our desires. Moreover, shamanic traditions highlight the interconnectedness of all things, a recurring theme in Hermeticism. Whether engaging with spirits, animals, or natural elements, Shamans recognize that everything is part of a greater whole, a universal web of consciousness. This understanding encourages us to approach life with reverence, knowing that our actions and thoughts ripple through the fabric of existence. As we reflect on shamanic insights, we see that they provide a vivid experiential validation of the principle of mentalism. They remind us that reality is not fixed, it is layered, interconnected, and deeply influenced by the mind. In the next section, we'll explore how the act of interpretation itself, the way we assign meaning to our experiences, further shapes the reality we live in. But for now, consider this. The boundaries of reality are not set in stone. They are as flexible as the mind that perceives them. Let's pause and ask an important question. How do we make sense of the world around us? How do we take the raw, chaotic flow of experiences and turn it into something meaningful? The answer lies in interpretation, an act of the mind that shapes how we perceive reality. Hermeneutics, the study of interpretation, offers valuable insights into how this process works and how it ties into the Hermetic principle of mentalism. Hans-Georg Gadamer, a prominent philosopher in the field of hermeneutics, proposed the idea of the fusion of horizons. This concept suggests that understanding is not a passive activity. Instead, it arises from the interaction between the observer's perspective, their horizon, and the context of what they're observing. In other words, meaning is not something we discover, it's something we create. This is strikingly similar to what the principle of mentalism teaches. If reality is mental at its core, then the meaning we assign to events, people, and experiences plays a central role in shaping our personal reality. Consider this. Two people can experience the exact same event, but their interpretations can lead to vastly different outcomes. One person might see a challenge as an opportunity for growth, while another might see it as an insurmountable obstacle. The event itself hasn't changed, but their realities are entirely different because of the meaning they've assigned to it. Hermeticism and hermeneutics both emphasize that the act of interpretation is not just passive, it's creative. When we assign meaning to something, we're actively participating in the construction of our reality. This doesn't mean that meaning is arbitrary. It's deeply influenced by our beliefs, values, and perceptions. But it does mean that we have the power to reshape our reality by reinterpreting our experiences. For example, think about a difficult period in your life. At the time, it might have felt overwhelming or unfair. But looking back, you might see how that experience helped you grow or led to unexpected opportunities. The experience itself didn't change. Your interpretation of it did. This power to reinterpret is a testament to the mental nature of reality and our role as co-creators within it. The principle of mentalism invites us to become more conscious of the meanings we assign to our experiences. Are we interpreting events in ways that empower us, or are we creating mental constructs that limit us? By becoming aware of our interpretations, we can start to rewrite the mental scripts that shape our reality. As we move forward, we'll explore practical ways to apply these insights, focusing on how the power of attention and intention can help us master our reality. But for now, remember this. Reality doesn't just happen to you. It's something you actively interpret and create through your mind. The stories you tell yourself about your experiences are not just reflections of reality. They are the seeds of the reality you will experience next. Now, let's talk about the one thing that shapes your reality more than anything else: attention. In our fast-paced, distraction-filled world, the ability to focus attention has become a rare skill. Yet it is one of the most powerful tools for mastering your reality. The Hermetic principle of mentalism reminds us that the universe is mental in nature. If everything begins with the mind, then where we direct our attention determines the reality we create. Consider this. Attention is like a spotlight. Whatever you focus on grows brighter and becomes more vivid in your life. If you focus on challenges and negativity, those aspects of your reality tend to expand. But when you focus on solutions, possibilities, and growth, your reality begins to shift in that direction. This is not wishful thinking. It's the natural outcome of aligning your mental energy with your intentions. Jason Miller's book, The Sorcerer's Secrets, provides an interesting perspective on this. Miller describes attention as a magical tool that shapes one's destiny. He emphasizes that attention is the currency of creation. What you pay attention to is what you invest in, and what you invest in becomes your reality. In this sense, attention is not just a mental habit, it's a creative force. Now, let's explore how this works practically. Have you ever had a goal or dream that you wanted to pursue but kept putting off because of distractions? Every time you let your attention wander, you weaken your connection to that goal. But when you commit your focus to it, through consistent action, visualization, or even journaling, you start to notice opportunities, ideas, and resources aligning to help you achieve it. This isn't magic. It's the power of mentalism in action. Modern distractions, however, make this challenging. Social media, constant notifications, and an overload of information scatter our focus, leaving little room for deep, intentional thinking. When our attention is divided, our creative power diminishes. Hermetic teachings remind us that mastering attention is essential for mastering reality. By taking back control of where our mind goes, we reclaim our role as conscious creators. How can you do this? Start with simple practices like meditation. Even a few minutes a day can help you train your mind to focus and stay present. Visualization is another powerful tool. Close your eyes and imagine your ideal outcome as if it's already real. See it, feel it, and let your attention infuse it with energy. Techniques like sound healing or vibrational therapies can also help center your mind and amplify your focus. Another key practice is to align your daily actions with your highest intentions. If your goal is to create a fulfilling career, for instance, focus on the steps that move you closer to that vision. Avoid spending mental energy on worries or doubts. Instead, redirect it toward opportunities and solutions. Every time you do this, you strengthen the connection between your mind and the reality you want to create. The Hermetic principle of mentalism teaches us that the universe responds to where we place our mental energy. By regaining control of your attention, you align yourself with the creative power of the universal mind. In the next part, we'll explore how diving into the subconscious mind allows us to unlock even deeper levels of creative potential. But for now, reflect on this. Your attention is your most valuable asset. Use it wisely, and you can shape your reality with intention and clarity. We've discussed the power of conscious attention, but what about the subconscious mind? If the conscious mind is like a painter, the subconscious is the canvas, an expansive, fertile ground where the seeds of your thoughts and beliefs grow into the reality you experience. Transforming your subconscious is key to fully harnessing the power of mentalism, as it governs the patterns and habits that shape your life. Joseph Murphy's book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, offers profound insights into how this hidden part of our mind works. Murphy explains that the subconscious doesn't distinguish between positive or negative. It simply acts on the thoughts and beliefs that are most deeply ingrained. This is why repeating negative patterns or limiting beliefs often feels automatic. They're stored in the subconscious and shape your reality without you even realizing it. But here's the good news. You can reprogram your subconscious mind. Techniques like affirmations, visualization, and lucid dreaming are powerful tools for planting new, empowering beliefs. For example, if you've always believed you're not good enough, start using affirmations like, "I am capable, confident, and deserving of success." By repeating these affirmations consistently, especially in relaxed states such as just before sleep, you can overwrite old, limiting beliefs with new ones aligned with your goals. Another effective method is visualization. The subconscious responds to images and emotions more strongly than words. When you vividly imagine a desired outcome, whether it's achieving a goal, healing a relationship, or creating abundance, you're essentially programming your subconscious to bring that vision into reality. The more emotionally charged your visualization, the more effective it becomes. Lucid dreaming takes this process even further. When you become aware that you're dreaming, you can actively shape the dream environment. This mirrors the mental nature of reality, showing that the boundaries between dream and real life are not as rigid as they seem. By practicing lucid dreaming, you not only gain deeper insights into your subconscious, but also develop the ability to direct it with greater precision. Hypnotherapy and guided meditations are also powerful tools for accessing the subconscious. In these relaxed states, the conscious mind takes a backseat, allowing you to plant new suggestions directly into the subconscious. This is particularly effective for overcoming fears, breaking habits, or releasing past traumas that may be holding you back. The Hermetic principle of mentalism reminds us that the subconscious is not separate from the universal mind. It's a gateway to it. By aligning your subconscious with your conscious desires, you tap into a deeper level of creation. You're no longer battling against hidden beliefs. Instead, you're working in harmony with your mind's full potential. As we move to the final part, let's reflect on the incredible power we hold within. The subconscious is not just a storehouse of past experiences, it's a wellspring of infinite possibility. By transforming it, we step into our true creative power and align ourselves with the mental nature of the universe. Let's bring everything together. The Hermetic principle of mentalism shows us that the universe is not something external and separate. It is a mental construct shaped by consciousness. And within this grand mental creation, you are not a passive participant. You are a co-creator. Every thought, belief, and intention you hold sends ripples through the fabric of reality. Your conscious mind directs your focus. Your subconscious mind stores your deepest patterns, and together they interact with the universal mind to manifest the world you experience. This realization is both empowering and humbling. It reminds us of our responsibility to create wisely. So, how do we embrace this role as co-creators? First, by becoming more aware of our thoughts. What are you feeding your mind daily? Are you focusing on scarcity, fear, and limitation? Or are you directing your attention toward growth, abundance, and possibilities? Remember, the universe mirrors back what you project into it. Next, align your subconscious mind with your conscious goals. Use affirmations, visualization, and other techniques to ensure that your internal beliefs support the reality you want to create. When your inner world aligns with your intentions, your external world naturally begins to shift. Finally, practice gratitude and awareness. Gratitude amplifies the creative process by focusing your attention on what is already positive and abundant in your life. Awareness keeps you grounded in the present moment, where your power to create is strongest. The Hermetic principle of mentalism invites us to see ourselves not as separate from the universe, but as integral parts of its unfolding. By mastering our minds, we align with the creative force of the universal mind, shaping our reality with intention and purpose. So, as you move forward, remember this truth. You are not just living in the universe. You are the universe, experiencing itself through the power of your mind. Let your thoughts, your intentions, and your actions reflect the infinite potential you hold within. The universe is mental, and you are its co-creator.